projects under James Gunn's Elseworlds banner have to meet one condition, which even a major movie star can't bypass. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. While the now-defunct DCU was axed in order to make room for the newly established DCU, some other existing properties, outside the mainline universe, will continue to exist under the Elseworlds banner. Not only does this mean Matt Reeves' The Batman epic crime saga will continue to expand past the Penguin, but the duo of James Gunn and Peter Safran are open to entertaining the prospect of other Elseworlds entries. Interestingly, a supposed movie star is currently in talks to develop his own Elseworlds story, but the bar for the project to be realized remains very high. Has been pretty vocal about prioritizing quality screenplays under the new regime, and this bar increases tenfold for stories set to exist outside the mainline universe. While elaborating on their approach to the Elseworlds brand, the DC head revealed that a very famous movie actor pitched them an Elseworlds tale of his own. But despite the actor's stature, Gunn and the new regime are steadfast on quality screenplays, stressing that they aren't going to greenlight the project in question unless the script turns out to be something worth realizing. Although Gunn didn't disclose the actor in question, if one has to guess, there's a non-zero chance of this being the long-speculated Val-Zod feature from Michael B. Jordan. Given the rise of IP-driven climate in the 21st century, movie stars are mostly a thing of the past, except for some rare holdouts, with the most notable one being Michael B. Jordan. Having just headlined one of the biggest original features of this decade, Jordan has showcased promise to lead the new generation of movie stars, and also fits Gunn's description of the actor in question. It's important to note that amidst the shift in direction within the DC brand, the supposed Black Superman movie, which was being penned by Ta-Nehisi Coates, was never scrapped, at least not publicly. Although there has been nothing but crickets about the project since then, considering Jordan was rumored to be at the forefront of the project, it won't be a stretch to assume he was the actor who was pushing for this tale to be told. Whatever the case may be, Gunn's HBO-esque approach to the Elseworlds brand will undoubtedly combat the growing sentiment surrounding the apparent superhero fatigue, or more accurately, fatigue of mediocre movies. Iconic director James Gunn talked about the canonicity of the DCU and how if you're dead, you stay dead, except one iconic Batman superpower. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn, the man known for creating some iconic movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and The Suicide Squad, has been the co-head of DC Studios since 2022. The director is all set and geared for the release of the upcoming movie Superman, and that's what we are a tad bit concerned about. It won't necessarily turn out to be a bad movie, but there are some signs that people aren't too sure about. The director recently commented about canon rules about the DCU and how each death will be permanent. In the comic books, superheroes, and the good guys, generally don't die. Even if they do die, they are brought back with some other cheap trick or tactic to create fake high stakes in the comics. These rules are also followed by the MCU as well as the DCEU, to some extent. All started when a fan stated that no one in DC stays down forever on Threads, at JamesGunn/IG. That's when James Gunn, who's often known to be very responsive on social media, stated that if you're dead, you're dead. In the DCU, if you die, you're dead. In another thread, Gunn also talked about Batman's potential superpower, the Lazarus Pit, and how he wouldn't shy away from using it. But there's a condition for that, too. If you don't know what the Lazarus Pit is, it was prominently used by Ra's al Ghul to heal and potentially revive people who had died. So, would James Gunn make an exception for Batman if the superhero were to potentially die? Well, there's a condition. Another thread, Gunn talked about the potential usage of the Lazarus Pit in his DCU. Although previous directors like Christopher Nolan, the Dark Knight trilogy, and Zack Snyder, the DCU, have not used the Lazarus Pit in their movies, it seems that James Gunn wouldn't mind using it. Fans have doubted Gunn's abilities, especially when you consider scenes like the three-teeth knock in Superman. His decision to potentially use the Lazarus Pit in the DCU could have some devastating results. Well, I wouldn't mind using the Lazarus Pit and/or resurrection in a story, but it would have to be a part of the story itself. I won't be killing major characters just to pop them in the old LP to be alive again. He added in another thread by @JamesGunn/IG. What backfires more is people believing there are no stakes and death doesn't mean anything. Dead is dead. Even Batman doesn't use the Lazarus Pit because he's afraid. Although the pool does have healing powers, The negative effect of the Lazarus Pit is insanity. Although the character comes back from the dead, they are never the same again. This is Batman's one superpower, which is actually magical, instead of the logical suit that he built, and James Gunn will only use it if the story demands it. Only time can tell whether Gunn will decide to use the Lazarus Pit, and if he does, what will be the consequences of it. The music in James Gunn movies has always been something to marvel at. The director recently revealed his process of picking music for his films. Welcome to Stats In. If you're just joining us, please subscribe and don't forget to turn on notifications bell for more video. James Gunn's reputation as one of the best soundtrack curators in Hollywood is no accident. His films aren't just remembered for their characters and visuals, they're remembered for the songs. Whether it's Peter Quill vibing to Redbone or a perfectly timed Bowie track elevating a scene's emotion, Gunn's music choices feel surgically precise. But what fans may not realize is how much time, energy, and obsession go into curating those playlists. While most directors consider music in the post-production stage, Gunn builds soundtracks into his films from the earliest writing sessions. And now, he's finally revealed the surprising method behind how he keeps his music picks fresh and inspired. In a recent interview on Max's YouTube channel, James Gunn shared that he is a huge fan of music. "I'm pretty obsessive about music." He listens to a lot of music across genres, and there are tools that help him in the process. Gunn revealed that he regularly visits a site called Album of the Year, a platform that catalogs every new album release along with critical and fan reviews. While it's not a streaming service, it serves as his go-to resource to discover highly rated new music across genres. Once something catches his eye, he dives into listening sessions. Since it's impossible to listen to all the music that comes out, Gunn picks from his favorite genres and the highly rated work on the website he mentioned. He also often relies on the recommendations from his brothers, who are just as passionate about music. These exchanges allow Gunn to explore sounds beyond his comfort zone, which eventually influence his storytelling decisions. This obsessive method has been a part of his creative process since the beginning. During the making of the Chris Pratt star, Guardians of the Galaxy, he sifted through hundreds of lesser-known 70s songs, narrowing them down to a set that would form the heart of the film. The final selections were so tightly integrated that they were played live on set, helping actors and crew sync to the rhythm and tone. The result was a soundtrack that felt like an emotional backbone, not just background music. Despite being known for his impeccable playlists, Gunn is making a deliberate shift with the David Corenswet starrer Superman. Unlike his previous films, this one leans heavily on a traditional score, composed by John Murphy and David Fleming. There are still a couple of songs woven into the film, but Gunn has said this is his first score-heavy project. He believes this approach helped him grow creatively, forcing him to find new ways to shape mood and narrative without relying on the emotional shorthand that needle drops often provide. Even with the score leading the way,